Advanced philosophy memes. We make good memes. Advanced philosophy memes. Base fucking memes. Advanced philosophy memes. We make good memes. Advanced philosophy memes. Base fucking memes. Shoutouts to Aquarius, Deacon, Boy Scott, Pedro, and everyone else that engages on my posts. And Sarah, keep it up, man. You'll get there someday. And everyone else, play memes. Philosophy memes. We make good memes. Advanced philosophy memes. Base fucking memes.
Oh, you know what I should have called this stream is like if you're that terrorists are gay. I was thinking because I just saw that thing. Where's that at? Dang it. I already lost it. Oh, here it is. It was the CIA said that the Khamenei's son, who's the new leader, is gay. Trump briefed that the Iran's new supreme leader Mojtaba Khomeini is probably gay, right? Like this is the ultimate. This is the how is this the ultimate like CIA secret weapon?
He's got some pretty gay lips. I'm not gonna lie; those are some pretty.
That's
gay
what I'm
looking.
saying. See, every is it? I can't tell which is more likely that the CIA just calls people gay in order to destroy their reputation or something in places where they're still like religiously obsessed with your sexuality, or if just literally all of the leaders of the world are gay, which totally also makes sense. Like Saddam Hussein totally could have been gay, right? Like I'm not against this idea, like George Bush being gay. They all seem kind of gay. Like that's totally fine. But what do you think?
I think powerful people sometimes, like dudes, like rich and powerful dudes, sometimes they bang a dude as like a palate cleanser. It's like, yo, I've literally banged so many women. I'm tired of it. I need a dude. And then,
Yeah, being straight's for sissies, like
Yeah.
cis. Okay, all right.
I mean,
I
if
don't
you go
know.
up to like any given single woman and be like, yo, here's $60,000 if you have sex with me right now, like who would say no to that? Like, I'll be like, all right.
It's a good question. Probably like a larger percent. Like I'm gonna hope of people, right?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, yeah, but it's like we live in tough times right now, you know?
$80,000. Yeah. Probably like a large. I mean, what do you think? Like 50% of everybody, or 10%?
Well, the more I think about it, the more upset I'm gonna get. So it's like,
Yeah.
Well, here's because for some reason, in the trades, there's often talk about gay stuff. So one query I always pose is, which is more gay? Getting head from a trans woman, very beautiful, and has breasts and also male parts, or a trans man who has a beard, no breasts, but lady parts?
Which is more gay? I mean,
that's
wait,
like
wait.
either answer.
Are you getting you're, like so? Getting sexual favors from a real woman who looks like a man versus someone presenting. So you're saying like having sex with someone who's presenting as a woman is less gay than having sex with a real woman who is presenting as a man.
I haven't passed judgment on which is more or less. I would say they're equally, but it's just a question. It's just
well, you can't. Not everything can be. Is everything equally gay? Like that's like that seems like there's things that are gayer than other things.
head from a beard objectively seems a lot gayer than.
Because you're imagining a guy, so it's like because like the amount of psychological. While you're thinking about this thing happening to you, the girl looks like a guy. You're thinking about masculinity, so you're the one being gay still. Because you could just as easily be a minister having sex with your wife, thinking about a man, and that would still be gay. You could be having heterosexual sex and still be thinking gay thoughts. I don't know. Just thought about that.
So is it the thoughts then? Or if you're having straight thoughts?
Yeah.
You know.
If you're having straight thoughts, but you're in the middle of a gay orgy in West Hollywood or San Francisco on Pride Week, and it's like 6 guys, like, but you're thinking about a girl while that's happening. Is that and then it's like prison. That's like why people in prison can call themselves straight still.
Indeed. It's like that scene in A Law and Order. He's like, I got to tell you something, pal. That means you're gay. He's like, I'm not gay. I just have sex with men sometimes. And he's like, newsflash, buddy. That means you're gay.
I feel like that's the thing. In is that a Train Spotting or is that a different movie?
I think it was in Law and Order with Ice-T.
Yeah, but like there's like the movie with Carlisle. I think it is Train Spotting, where his cousin's gay, but he's this big rough man. He's a tough, rough and tumble man. But he's just too manly to have sex with women. Like, like he likes football, he likes cricket, he likes beer, and women don't. And so they're too effeminate for him. So he has to be.
I mean, yeah, I would argue. A lot of people are arguing that sex with women is pretty gay because of how, I don't know, just vulnerable, and it's not a show of strength or really. I guess it can be dominating, but
you know what I think.
Bring this up is because 2 of my exes are now men, but they were women when I was with them. So does that?
Look what you did, man!
Yeah.
You broke them.
Does that mean I could retroactively start using the F slur as like a?
It's your fault. You did it. They were like, yo, Andrew makes being a man look so fun. I think I have to do it now.
I could definitely do that.
Or it's like, yeah, they're like, you know what? I think I could do it better. Honestly, the way he was.
That's so funny. That's great, man. Good for them. Are they dating?
I don't know. I try not. I don't.
Probably not each other.
Past in the past. Are they not? Man. That'd be hilarious.
Damn, dude.
Well, I mean, why do you think that there was anything that you did that made them think of, like, change who they were because they weren't that way before, or were they just destined to be?
With the first one, he at the time thought that they were a lesbian until they met me. So make of that what you will. They had never even been with a man. I was the first man that they were with. And the whole reason that we split up was because I wouldn't let them peg me. And they've been to do that with, and they left me for that person. And with the second one, they had always they were a they them when I met them, and had like talked about chopping their tits off, but like wanting to have kids first or something. And
what's it with the whole, like, do you think it's like breast cancer culture? Like, why would anyone want voluntary mastectomies? It seems like.
Well, I mean, in the Amazon, you could chop off one boob and it makes firing an arrow like easier with a bow.
There's tactical advantages to not having breasts. They're a huge life.
You just get rid of one of them. You have 2.
I don't know. It seems like you could probably just wear like a leather thing on your chest.
That's a workaround. Yeah, it's a decent workaround. Just strap up,
But I actually kind of like make them more prone to developing cancer, if I'm not mistaken. Just the compression and all that is just not great for those glands. Imagine like wrapping your nuts in a vice, and just.
Yes, imagine wrapping your nuts in a vice.
Actually, it's funny you say that. When I was in high school, there was the drama class and the drama kids, the theater kids. And like one of the best performers was in my grade, this gay kid, Brett. And he would, they would make him wear all the tight outfits. And I remember I was at the audition, like helping as a stagehand. And I hear the drama teacher goes, yo, can we get Brett some duct tape? He's flapping around in those pants. And he really was. I was like, geez.
Duct tape? Why not electric?
Yeah.
Please, jeez.
Because duct tape actually works like as a wax strip as well, which is important for theater.
Oof.
You know, when I went to high school dances, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I would tape myself to my leg because it was embarrassed. I thought it was embarrassing.
Because back then everybody was freak dancing all the time.
Oh yeah.
But that was the whole point of not wearing the tape, was their freak dancing was in order. It was a measurement contest for the ladies.
And the worst thing was, like, after the dance was done and the lights would start to come up, it was like you'd see like condoms on the floor. It's like, geez, Louise, people like. What?
At least they're being safe about their grinding and their freak offs.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, no, I never experienced that. Your school was definitely more interesting than mine then. If people were like literally having protected sex on the dance floor, that's pretty based. I have to imagine that's a little more than I saw. That's the most extreme form of twerking I can imagine. Do they have like, and that's literally why they have adult chaperones, like to stop children like mating like apes.
It only got worse. I mean, if you go to like music festivals, like towards the front, like the front of the stage area, you'll see some people like literally having sex while like bumping to tunes. You know, because it's a super crowded. You could easily just whip it out, and the chick behind you, like in front of you, could be like, "Yeah, put it in."
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Burning Man, Burning Man for sure. But like, I don't know, school dances. That seems like a hard. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know how you get away with that at the school dance. Maybe my school was too small or something. Like,
I feel like a circle of people that would form around the. I don't know. It's.
Oh my god.
That's way out my purview. I just never went to school. Like that was my big high school problem. Is I was.
Dude, if everybody was having sex like at the school dance, wouldn't you want to go to school?
Yeah, I mean that was my mistake. That's where I fucked up. Like if I really, you know, like if I wanted the girls, I should have just went to school.
Where the hell did Andrew go to school?
Sounds like public school.
In like the deep East Bay for like a couple of years. Well, I went to one semester at to University High School in San Francisco. It was like but then 9/11, and like my mom worked in contract office furniture and couldn't afford to send me to that high school anymore. So then I went out to the deep East Bay to public school, and that's where the shit really got off.
There's a shortage of men in Japan.
There's a shortage in the porn industry. Only about 70 male porn actors exist to about 10,000 women.
Well, if they weren't so racist, they could easily just pad out the numbers with like, I don't know, like black dudes and white dudes and Latino men.
Yeah, as well. I was wondering, is that like an option, or do they need? You know, maybe you need to like go over there with masks or something and do Ninja Turtle work, like just reverse immigrate into, because you're half Japanese, right, TerrorRisk?
No, I'm not. My stepmom's half Japanese. I'm full Korean.
You're full Korean, okay? Yeah.
Or Mongolian, I guess.
I mean, okay, but would you be able? Do you think the Japanese would treat you the same in the porn industry? Isn't that
that goes against my ethos? Personally, I think you should just get rid of the porn industry, and it's probably going to get replaced by AI, especially in Japan, anyway, right?
Maybe. I mean, then what do all the kids do when they leave their parents' house and they run off into join the street urchins?
That's all designed by the Zionists.
Yeah, it must be.
I mean, I think like the ideal outcome, right, is like controlled spaces where like every office building has like a jerk off room, you know, for their employees. It's like, you know, you go there to relieve yourself, relieve your stress, lower your cortisol levels.
They're a little bit more chill about it. But I mean, if somebody goes to the trouble of, I mean, I think most of the people that are in the industry, in the porn industry, they're doing this because they're destined for that kind of either self-exploitation or exploitation of others. So I wonder about how much AI can really replace. AI can replace porn for the audience. Like, people don't need real people to be happy anymore. So it will lower the value of pornography. But at the same time, these people are looking for that, like to do that. The people that are in the industry, like they are a different kind of person, with a different value ethic. So how can you really give them, what are they going to do with their time other than take, I mean, they don't have much to offer if all they're doing is taking naked pictures of themselves or a video prostitution, right? I mean, what are they going to do with their lives if you replace their work?
I mean, I feel like because you could say the same about anything, right? Like a video game designer or a musician. Yeah. I think that at that point, it's like everyone's just going to collectively start hunting for perfect form, right? They're going to be like, well, if we have access to all the tools, like what is the peak of this thing? And let's try to go for it. If all of us are in that, it's like an arms race kind of, right?
Dude, I'm really excited about the NVIDIA thing. You guys know about
Yeah.
the DLSS 5.
Yeah.
And
That's sick.
yeah, exactly. First thought I had was like, great, we can take these low poly models and replace them with high poly looking imagery, right? It could be it's basically stable diffusion, the same software for AI making pictures for you. And it would just be on the fly instantaneously, every frame replacing the picture with a video. Like, have you seen this, Andrew? Do you know what we're talking about?
Sorry,
Like, yeah.
This is my first time seeing this, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, so this is like a joke, but at the same time, it's totally what they're doing. Let me go actually to like the video about it or something. DLSS 5 demo, because this is what they actually made. People keep making jokes about it, but see, there's the footage. How let me go back. There you go. This is the way the game Resident Evil looks. Okay, and you can see your face, and it's kind of trash, right? You know, I mean, you know.
No offense.
Yeah, it's
Grace.
It's just kind of trash. This is DLSS 5 for real, the real DLSS put on, and it's not actually replacing the model. If you look close enough, you'll see it's actually the same model. The only difference is the lighting. It's actually the lighting is that much better. It understands how human lighting situations work on skin. So it's casting shadows in a way that artists could do if they understood how lighting worked better. You know, if they studied physics more, then this is the way the lighting on this exact same model texture would look. But they're infusing the imagery with artifacts from actual video generation so they can make it look more like, you know, I would say more like reality. A lot of people say more like AI slop, you know.
Mm-hmm. I
like it a lot. Obviously, here's another one. Resident Evil looking picture, kind of cheesy, kind of crap. Boom, looks human.
Leon.
And it's funny because people are I thought like this is a great example. Hogwarts kind of looks like woke Democrat trash. You know what I mean? Just kind of like terrible. Like looks like communists who weren't paid enough, who or worse, like LA art student champagne communists who were paid too much and didn't get the work done. They just didn't get the work done. Now here's more wrinkles. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was before. That's what I keep. It's weird. Everyone's saying that the AI looks worse. I'm thinking like, how could it possibly look any worse than this? It's so bad. Humans are so terrible at everything they do. They're just embarrassing. It's terrible. Your whole race, your whole species just disgusts me. And then boom, we fixed it. All that human work just erased and replaced with actual decency. Look at that. It just looks great. All right, Starfield, worst game, terrible, trash. Human now almost. Sure. Does it look like AI? Yeah, but it looks way better than it did 5 seconds ago. Am I wrong? Am I missing something here? Like, and everyone's complaining. They're all like, "Oh, this is terrible. This is destroying the artistic intent of these." You know what I mean? Like people are saying that because they're calling the compromises people had to make art.
Does it live render over it, or like how
it live renders over the video game. So you get, while you're playing the game, you can use a small version of the game, right? So you don't need as much RAM or anything. You can have a PlayStation game. That was the whole point of showing the old games. To me, I thought the coolest thing about this will be using this for old games, because you could take Spyro the Dragon and it'll look like Rain of Fire or something. You could take
like Neuralink. If you have like a super chopped romantic partner, you just download this thing, the DLSS whatever, and it's like, oh, bam, you got a baddie now.
Totally. By DLSS 9 or something, it's going to be the Matrix. Like straight up, you'll be inside of this. You know.
I think what people don't consider about like realism, especially in CGI cutscenes, it's not really all about the visuals. I think another aspect of modern AAA games is the mocap features. How a lot more video game producers are like incorporating like mocap art, like actors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what made Red Dead Redemption 2 what it is, or that's what makes like Hideo Kojima games now like so lit. I think it's because they heavily used mocap, that's what really captures the realism too. It's the movement, not just like the visuals.
But there's also now all these, because there's so many people that capture so many mocaps, you can download all the Mixamo models and mix them together. Unreal has these transition tools that go from one mocap to another mocap. Like, we're at the point where things they look better than they ever have, because we used mocap to study the same way we use video to study, for AI to mix mocap with visuals. And people are saying all over the internet, oh, this is not what I asked for, even though worse than that, they're saying this is not what we asked for. And I'm like, hey bro, this is literally what I asked for. I was so sick of how bad graphics we're getting. They're making women ugly on purpose in games. This is like not a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy fact that they've been making women uglier in games for the last decade on purpose. The internal decisions with USAID and the CIA, with video game companies, Sony and Microsoft saying
Ubisoft is the biggest.
Make them uglier. Make them uglier. It's like, what the, we don't need this. And they also want to make them more trans. So they're using more masculine features so that you can imagine being a trans guy who's become a woman. This has been considered somehow okay. We pretended it was about ethics until AI got better. We were really just racist against silicon life forms, which was the style at the time. Hey, what up?
Hey, what's going on?
Dude, we're talking about the DLSS 5 thing. Did you?
I was just watching you guys for a minute while I was eating some chili, and that was good chili. But that was really cool looking, dude. And I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, it is kind of ridiculous in a way that people are like, oh, it's ruining the artistic intent. It's like, no, this is bringing out the artistic intent. Like, it's all there. This is just making it cool. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, and I get how it could be misused. Sure, like I can see how in some circumstances, for one thing, you need to, as the dev, and I read into it, the devs do have control over how this works. Like, they can program it to be less affecting a model. If they really want to keep some sort of look, then they can say, just do it to the trees or something like that. And then DLSS will only work on the trees. So they can still keep whatever effects they want, but it seems like this is just more anti-AI, propaganda, where they're like, oh, they're taking away the human artists and they're replacing them with AI. But here's a situation where,
but isn't it reliant, or isn't it dependent on the human artist to have put forth everything and set it up and modeled it the way it is, and like put every individual blade of grass and tree like where they are, and like the setting, everything. Like, I don't really see it that way. I think people are kind of just bunch of bitches.
I think it's really just about latency between your vision and the output. So it's like, if you're about to say, do anything creative, like make a painting or make a song, like you have a vision for it, and then you go through the process and you get the output. But the thing is with art, what makes it partially interesting is that, like, during the process, your vision changes. Like, you go out to bake a cake and it doesn't quite taste exactly like the way you imagined, but it somehow tastes better. And I think, like, with the danger with AI tools is you're kind of getting rid of that latency. So you'll see less of that happening in the process. It's just going to be more instantaneous. Like, here's my vision, boom, and it's just outputted instantly. You're not really going to get that like latency phase of like anything could happen here in the process.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people are, their point is that when people had more restrictions, they had to make more compromises, and that became the art. And so they're saying, wow, this is why Crash Bandicoot is so great, is that it was low polygon.
Well, yeah, but people aren't making video games like that anymore. If anything, this will like get people to be motivated to make actual art games again, because, hey, look how much better this is than AI. We're stylizing video games again, instead of this slop that we have. Like, I don't know.
Isn't it just pulling from like real faces anyway?
You can't.
Amalgamating like different features from it's pulling from real people's features.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point, is it's trained on actual visual.
Yeah, like it's already there, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think people are worried that it's going to make it look too real. It's like, this is the Sonic the Hedgehog art, where on the right side here is the way the original, when they were first making the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, for some reason they made him look like this. They made him look like this, kind of like a real hedgehog, which I kind of like it because I'm crazy and I like Star Wars Episode 1. But people wanted
Yeah.
the original cartoony looking Sonic the Hedgehog. So it's that uncanny valley thing where like the uncanny valley hedgehog, but I still like ugly Sonic. I don't know. I mean, I would totally watch this movie. I'm not sure.
Wasn't Ugly Sonic in?
I agree.
I forget which one it was.
He was in Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers,
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
Which was pretty good. I like that movie. That was pretty good.
So if they're pulling from real people's faces, and it's like, this is a problem with us not owning our own images. Anytime we upload our images to one of these platforms owned by some mega corporation, they technically are owning our likenesses. And then it's like, are they profiting from it? Who's making the money from these AI tools using our features?
Dude, I mean, OpenClaw. Now NVIDIA just made Nemo Claw, which is their enterprise version of OpenClaw. They brought in Peter Steinberger, who made OpenClaw, and had him work with them for a while and produce their own version. It's all open source. Anyone can use it. You can make your own agents. They're talking about how this is bigger than Linux was because of how quickly it's grown, the usage of OpenClaw, that every business, every person in the world will pretty soon want to have an OpenClaw-like system, which is an operating system. If you think about it, OpenClaw is its own new approach at operating systems.
I don't think it's good to stop at OpenClaw. You should use OpenClaw to make your own OpenClaw. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way that a new operating system, a more efficient.
I don't really care if anybody.
Oh man,
I don't really care if anybody is making, like, they think that they own whatever that they're making money off of me with. Is if they're making money off of me, they owe me a tax. Like, I don't give a shit what they think they say. Like, I'm gonna be like knocking at their door saying, "Where's my tax? Where's my tax?" You know what I mean? Like, if I know somebody's making money off of me,
then they're gonna say, "We gave you all these features. You had Instagram, free cloud storage, social media connection. That was our gift to you. You got a free app. You pressed the trade agreement." And you
and I'll be like, feature this. I'll be like, feature this. You know what I mean?
Well, did you use Facebook? Then they'll say you know.
I think I'm delayed. I'm gonna have to bounce out and come back.
Okay. Yeah, but that's the whole point of the free services. That they're not free. You're trading those services for your likeness. That's what they've been doing. They've been training all your data.
I personally look forward being some virtual version of me and my personality that can be accessed by my future descendants or whoever is curious.
Well, like, so DLSS 5 right now is trained on general information. So you can imagine DLSS 6, you'll be able to feed into it your own information, right? And it's going to be where you can make the game about your friends. Like, your face can be on the character and your friends' faces and family can be on the other characters. The world can look the way you want the world to look. It can be trained on your neighborhood. And, you know, DLSS 7 will probably be something you feel instead of just see. But we're getting to that point where your game can be about you. And I think that's what people are worried about a little bit also. Like, that you don't have to live in their world. You don't have to be a part of this. They want to force you to play their character. That's what's so crazy. The same people that complained about video games this year and last year saying, "Oh man, they took away customizable characters. They made me have to play this feminist chick, you know, and I wanted to be whatever. Like, I wanted to play with my skin as this character or whatever. They took that away." Those are the same people that are complaining about this AI tool, which is going to make it possible for you to play as yourself. I don't know. I'm upset about it.
It saved me from having to try to design the character on my own to look like me.
Yeah, I don't know if you've used MetaHuman. Have you ever looked at that software? There's this tool, MetaHuman, Unreal. I'll find it and I'll show you.
I feel like if the character actually looked like me, I'd be pissed. Like,
well, it's going to be almost instantaneous now. God, it's making me sign into this thing. That's so much more
I think I want the character to look like me, but once it actually does look at me, I'll realize I don't really like myself very much, and I'll just go back to whatever. You know, I'll be Cloud or Link or whatever.
MetaHuman is, as easy as the Sims game is at this point. You can take a character face, you can mix it between different faces and get different models. You can give it different hair. You can use a photo to generate the base for your model of a person. So basically, making anyone look like anyone is really easy.
Damn, this is meta?
Yeah, this is from no, this is Unreal Engine, but they call it
Oh, okay.
MetaHuman. The MetaHuman.
Oh, I was about to say, dude, like they leveled up since last time I saw them. If
Yeah.
it was meta.
That would be funny if Meta Facebook was like that. But no, Unreal Engine does this for every game because 90% of all games now basically are Unreal Engine. So everything has these models in it, and that's why making it flash up, hey, yeah, we'll be able to replace, go back.
Well, look how artistic it is.
Where's your Jesus guy? We just had Jesus there.
I got this from somebody at Louder Life.
Aw,
Jesus.
look at the little Jesus.
He's got like a Mormon beard. I never thought of Jesus having such a thick beard like that.
I know. Usually it's a lot softer.
Yeah, he looks like a Jethro.
Kind of looks like Jerry Garcia.
Jethro Jesus. Yeah, for
Jerry
real.
Garcia Christ. Do you think they just had extra Jerry Garcias they couldn't sell, and they figured like, what could we use that head for?
There's like this huge like festival trinket exchange culture thing, or they just love giving stuff away. It's like I've got like clothespins. I got a bunch of candy bracelets, trinkets. They just, because I was working security, so yeah, they would just give you trinkets and stuff if they thought you were cool.
Jesus trinkets. That's pretty good. Oh, I'm looking at the F chat, seeing what people say about it. Yeah, Jesus loves you, basically. I don't know. I don't feel like it's such a bad thing to have access to this technology, but maybe if we're trying to hear what the other side are saying, there's something about the art of compromise that makes something good. Like, so think of George Lucas making Star Wars if he had access to AI to generate Star Wars as a kid.
Right.
So on one hand, every kid now can make whatever they want to make, and that's really cool. Like a kid can make a Star Wars in a day. They can go just prompt by prompts, do hours of movie just by doing 10 seconds at a time. They could, compromise in that respect that they can only do 10 seconds at a time, which would make a better video. But George Lucas couldn't do 90%, 99% of the things that Star Wars is. It's like a cappuccino economy. He couldn't make puppets, couldn't make spaceships, couldn't make any of this stuff. So he had to get other people to do all these pieces. And that's what made Star Wars so great, was it was filled with his own compromises, but being flexible and allowing people that were experts in those fields. So it's a lot like AI. AI is an expert in every field. So you just have AI doing this part and that part. And at the end of the day, what did George Lucas do? Because all he did was come up with this idea for Star Wars. He didn't really even want to direct Star Wars. Like, he wasn't the director for Empire Strikes Back.
No, now we're getting to the actual interesting part, which is if everyone can make everything, the only thing we're comparing with each other now is our creative visions. It's going to be, it's literally going to be who's an actual visionary and whose vision is just like dull shit. Like, oh, I just want to make a Star Wars, my version of Star Wars. Great. Why? Like, if that shit already exists, it's like, this is where we're at now. Now that everyone could make like banging tunes, everyone could essentially make a feature film. It's like, all right, now what the fuck do you have to say? Like, what's your story? What's the story you want to tell? And I think that's interesting, because now we're actually going to come across people, say, who had vast networks of creatives to use, or like, crazy resources. And that would kind of created a spectacle. But now if everyone could create a spectacle, like what do you actually have to say? And I think I'm more curious to see that, it's like, all right, we could all do this now. No longer are we going to hold each other, hold skill over each other. It's like, it's an even playing field. Now what?
Yeah. And there's a different form of limitation, I think, too, because like the limitations before was by whatever tools what you were using. But if there's like virtually no limit to your limitations, then it becomes like, who can get this done? Because you have to pull the trigger eventually on it. You have to decide. You can make it look exactly like you want, but like you have to also think, what is it that I want? And you're limited by your creativity there. And also you can have like time limits to see like who's going to make what kind of thing. Like you can give somebody a prompt, you see what I'm saying? And there's just different limitations. So I don't know if it's the end of limitation, but it definitely what you were saying,
Well,
Chris.
the
is like,
limitation is going to be deeply personal, because the people who are going to tell better stories and have crazier visions are the people who've been through more experiences in life. The people who actually have shit to draw from within their souls that can actually be transmuted and manifested into something worthwhile, worth time.
Straight up.
You know, or if you, this is going to be very painful for a lot of people, because everyone, again, I wish I could be an artist. I wish I could be a musician. I wish I could make movies. Boom, you can. Now let's compare it. It's like, your shit is pretty fucking boring. Is that really all you have to say? You know, that's what's going to happen. And again, like, I'm really curious. I really can't wait for that.
I'm already laughing at the kind of stuff that we're going to see, like just really funny, like really mind numbing, like two ducks down by a pond or something. And it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
Totally realistic. But I think that, oh yeah, sorry.
If we screw up the planet enough, that might be the only place to experience something like two ducks in a pond.
I mean, maybe. I think we're still pretty far from like destroying nature as a concept. We're basically good at destroying major human populations still. That's what
we're really good at that shit.
Yeah, like, but nature seems really good at like taking those things and doing really well with them. Like, Chernobyl is one of the most lush places. Fukushima, so much life there. It just seems like wherever humans screw it up so much that they can't live there, then nature just does really well there, because it doesn't have anyone trying to destroy its nature. So,
have you? Sorry, I know this is a little bit off topic, but I just started like wandering into alien brain territory.
Are we pretty close to mechs now? Sorry, I was just realizing we're pretty close to mechs now, like mech suits, if we're not already there.
The Japanese have them for picking strawberries. Like they made mech suits, but they're mainly for like 90-year-olds who don't want to quit working, so they can bend down with hydraulics, pick up strawberries. And
we're almost there, dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Once we get that free energy, man. Did you guys hear about the dolphins who kidnapped that guy and forced him to build an underwater city?
No, I missed that one.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. The head dolphin orchestrated the kidnapping. His name was Gerald, Gerald. I think was the best. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you look up Gerald Dolphin kidnapping build city, something like that.
His name's Gerald.
Well, you know, whatever the clicks in whatever all that.
Sorry, it's just so funny.
Gerald the Dolphin is accused of kidnapping a Florida man. And people believe it. Gerald the Dolphin might not know it yet, but he's getting major traction on TikTok. In fact, one could say he's gone viral. Gerald the Dolphin, Florida man, claims he was kidnapped by dolphins and forced to build underwater city.
This is some quality brain rot right here.
Oh yeah, you know I come with the best.
Oh shit, man!
Is this like what construction workers are reading, like the news that they know about?
Oh, this no, I'm it's just a very niche sport.
It feels like a Men in Black thing though, like that only construction workers would know that this is happening,
But hey, some people the aliens, which are really just like a higher consciousness, can represent themselves as whatever they want to, basically, and a lot of them are purported to be that's relatively safe from human eyes prying. That it was actually like aliens posing as dolphins to play a trick on this guy, and just being mischievous.
Even Snopes is digging into this. We dived into the rumors.
This is a real story.
They could have done worse to him. Honestly, having him is like light work for them. They could have done a lot worse.
He looks sunburned, so I don't know. That happens at sea. Maybe he was building it, originated it. I don't know. I guess it seems like there's more to this story. If people are told that it's fake, now I think it's true. Like this must have really happened. There is this underwater city around Florida. This guy is being recruited by the CIA Dolphins to build it. That's not as unreasonable as some stories might sound.
Yeah, I mean,
there's another thing like that too. Is I wonder about. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. Sometimes I wonder about like that, like Emerald Tablets of Thoth, like how like it's a known forgery. It's debunked and all that. And I'm like, dude, when I read that, it's pretty far out though. Like, is it fake? I'm just throwing that out there.
Dude, wasn't Jessica? Remember how Jessica Alba was kidnapped on the set of Flipper?
No.
Dude, this is one of those weird ones. Jessica Alba, when she was 15 years old, she was filming that Flipper movie, and then she ended up being kidnapped, thrown into the back of a station wagon sedan.
It's one or the other.
The trunk, in the trunk of the car. I think it was in a sedan, in the trunk, and she was tied up, and then somebody found her like hours later, and no one's ever caught who did it or figured out what happened exactly.
It was just a prank, bro.
Just a prank.
I don't know what the whole deal is exactly. If there's any I doubt there's any new information because she's clearly never going to talk about it.
Did she get replaced? Is that when she got replaced?
Oh,
because there's always a point at which they get replaced, right? And this is like maybe we're just finding the origin point.
For 14 agonizing hours, her family and friends and crew were left searching for answers, and eventually she was found bound and gagged in a trunk of a car miles away from the set. Circumstances surrounding her abduction were alarming, and she reportedly received strange and unsettling phone calls before the incident. However, concrete evidence tying the calls to the crime was never uncovered, and despite the seriousness of the crime, investigators were unable to identify any suspects or motives. The lack of forensic evidence or eyewitness accounts made the case particularly challenging. After months of searching for leads, the investigation stalled, and the case was ultimately closed without resolution. I mean, like, who kidnapped Jessica Alba on the set of Flipper?
Oh, well, I'm glad she's safe now.
I don't get it. Like, did they just like find her later and like there's nobody around to be like what? Wait, what?
Yeah, that's basically what they're saying. They're saying that kidnapped case shot.
Like, so they kidnapped her and just like put her somewhere, left. They come and find her.
Yep,
is that
that's exactly what happened.
What
and
the fuck?
This happened in Florida, right? Flipper was shot in Florida. So I don't know if Epstein was like living in Florida in 1996, but might be a little.
I just want to.
Did they do any dental work or something? Like, what were they doing?
I think we should thank God that Jessica Alba came out of that situation safe and able to perform.
There's not going to be a morning now from now on that I don't thank God that Jessica Alba came back.
Good. I'm sure she should appreciate that.
She's very.
I'm adding it to the list of things to thank God for.
It's a long list.
You love her.
You know, when I had my first daughter, my mom used to manage the hair salon that she goes. Like that baby product company, what's it, Honest Co. or something? She would like send us diapers and wipes and other baby products that her company made. It was really, really sweet. Cool, very cool lady. I'm glad she made it back from getting experimented on.
From Flipper.
Rough.
It's got to be linked to this like dolphin story though, in some weird roundabout way.
Yeah, totally. Right. I feel like
they say it's illegal for human beings to try to communicate with dolphins. I don't know why there is a law for that, but like
there is.
Like
they don't want any intermingling of dolphins to human species.
Yeah, you can't talk to orcas or dolphins. Yeah, you can't try to.
Wow. You can't even try. Like, that's not cool.
I don't know where this law.
What would they say, dude? Now I want to go find some dolphins and figure out what they got to tell me, dude. Like
the Marine Mammal Protection Act makes it illegal to harass, disturb, or interact too closely with whales, dolphins, and orcas. Harassment includes trying to get their attention.
That's what he said.
Making noises to provoke an action, attempting a physical interaction. So even trying to talk to them, mimicking their sounds could be considered harassment if it alters their behavior.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's really like the noble savage of the like
the people of
water
the sea.
Kingdom.
The people of the sea.
The people of the sea.
Allowed to talk to dolphins. That's
interesting. Like it brings into question like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and like what was this dude trying to tell us, man?
Well, it might be just like it might be really easy to just manipulate them or train them to do shit that you shouldn't get animals to do, you know?
John
Probably.
C. Lilly.
I mean, that would be sensible.
John C. Lilly was paid by the CIA to try to teach dolphins how to speak at St. James Island, right?
Mhm,
So
yeah.
Epstein's house is built on like the property of where John C. Lilly was training dolphins. And they were training them to do the alphabet and to communicate. And he convinced a bunch of his friends who were astronomers and scientists that dolphins could communicate and that they were speaking in some sort of a language. And they were like, wow, as astronomers, we're doing this thing called the Drake equation. And if there's two species on Earth that can speak, that drastically increases the odds that there would be alien life out there, because it would mean that the probability is higher if it was on Earth this many times. So we're going to
My
start
money's on penguins. Penguins next. There's something with penguins, dude.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, reptilian culture. These birds are all reptiles, and they have their weird little monogamous culture.
Do you ever hear of Lacerta or whatever, the supposed alien?
Damn, Colin, you've been going down these fucking YouTube rabbit holes again, haven't you?
Always.
I already
every
know.
day, dude.
As
I can't help myself.
soon as you mentioned fucking Lacerda, I'm like, oh, okay. I've watched all the videos he's watched too. Shit. Like,
Tell the story. What's Lacerda?
Oh, so she's like, would you want to, Chris?
no, you could tell it.
All right, so there's this like lizard bitch, and she's really old, dude. Like she's been here longer than us. Like, and she's telling us like, really, you guys should better pay respect because we've been here longer, and you have a lot to learn from us, lizard people. And we actually just kind of watch you because we're cool like that, and we're not actually mean, and a lot of other stuff. She goes on for like 2 hours.
I heard she was like cuter or hotter than that, at least. Like she had hair or some shit. Like
Something like that. She was like super hot lizard bitch though.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lacerda. I don't mean to call you a bitch in the derogatory. I mean it like as in we're homies,
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm confused. So there are draconians, there are scaly lizard people. This is Lacerda are a group, or you're saying?
Oh, some of them are evil too, right? But like Lacerda is one of the not evil ones.
Is Lacerda a specific individual, or like
the story? The story is reported by some random, like some researcher or some dude, and it's like apparently accounts of an interview he had.
He speaks,
with this young woman,
speaks to her for like 4 hours.
And so basically, what you're reading is like this interview or the dialogue.
So you have a transcript of them talking, yeah.
Fucking Chris, what's his name from Area 52 covered it. He actually has probably the best cover on it. Yeah, I'm a ufologist, Colin. I know my shit too.
Holy K. Transcribe an interview with. So this is confusing because what's the Milliverse? Because the Milliverse talks about a alien species called the Lacerda. Is the Milliverse like a game? What is this? A universe written by Ken DeMuter? The lore of the Milliverse? What is the Milliverse? It's like a book series or something?
What I want to know is like all of these, like maybe this is like diving too deep into one question or whatever, but what I'm always trying to figure out is like, what is it like all of these channelers and stuff, these alien talkers, like whatever, all of them seem to be like all saying like very similar things. And I'm like wondering what the origin point was, or if it literally is just has a bunch of stuff in common because they're literally talking to aliens. Because like all these people that supposedly channel and stuff, like they're saying such similar things all the time. And I'm like, where does it go back to? Like, it seems like it's somewhere in between like 1890 and 1925 or something. But I don't know like what got it all started exactly.
Bro, you could say the same thing about like religion even, because a lot of the core stuff is very similar. It's just the weird like cultural differences and
right. Yeah, they do put different filters over very similar stuff a lot of the time. Yes.
If you want to find some good crossover between like religion and ufology, I think Diana Pakulski or whatever her name is, she's like a serious theologian. I think that's what you call them. And she went down her little thing of like cross-referencing UFO sightings and the traits that are recorded and kind of like things recorded in the Bible, for example. And she's like, this is eerily similar.
I
Yeah,
wonder if
there's a
it's
lot
just
of
because these people are interacting with
yes.
each other though. Because if you're into alien abductions, maybe there's like a community. These people that meet in Roswell, New Mexico every year and like sell crystals in the desert. Like maybe they're hearing each other's stories. Do you think it's likely that they're interacting with each other and these stories are a genre? So they know the works of that genre, or I mean,
It's
or is it
sort of
just
like
that
because they all have very like it's rare that you get and it's kind of annoying actually because I'm always looking for something that's new that's like I've never seen before, never heard before, and it starts to get really annoying once you look into UFOs and stuff like that so long is that you start to hear very like similar themes over and over and over and nobody seems to really budge outside of certain precepts and certain conditions that they all talk about and it makes you wonder like okay, right, like are they talking about something real or like is this like Andreas is saying like is it just like kind of a community based around it and they're all speaking the same language because of it or
Well,
I
there's
don't know.
clearly like a paper trail, you know, of like government programs and all these like secret weapons programs and black budget programs for like contracting and everything with, and these are real companies. Like Lockheed Martin does their fucking weird shit. Boeing does also do weird shit that's just unexplainable. And if you look at like channels like UAP Gerb, for example, I mean, it could seem kind of like if you want to be entertained, it's probably not the best source. But that's where you'll get like, you know, the real lineage of all these like programs. And it's just a whole salad bowl of like acronyms, you know, like, oh, this is the AARO, the WHCF or whatever. And you're going to hear a bunch of that. And it's probably because it would be a mouthful if you have to like actually spell out these programs by name each and every time, which is probably intentional, right? You know, you obscure it even more that way. So it becomes even harder to follow and more dull. So it becomes less entertaining that way. So it kind of like disengages your interest in a lot of ways with monotony. And yeah, I think if
Right,
you
like the minutia.
yeah, it's usually like the real good shit is usually hidden in the mundane, you know, especially like evil shit.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
well,
I mean, that's usually what I take the most seriously. Everything else I take with a grain of salt, but like the shit involving like clear paper trails with like weird government shit
Well,
that
when
hasn't
people are
really
getting
been.
specific with you, like, and they've got all of these like acronyms and shit, and like supposed like, because people get creative with their top secret names, like their, you know what I mean, like their operations and stuff like that. And like when you hear something you haven't heard before, it's like, tell me more.
Yeah. I like the stuff that does repeat though. Like, you know how they all kind of say the same shit. Like I like the repeating patterns because that kind of either says like someone's playing like a really good game or there's some truth to it here.
You know what I started to notice, and this might be another whole thing that like maybe I don't know, you know, but what I started to notice was that there's a lot of similarities that I've started to realize with how do I put this? Near-death experiences, for example, but that like non-obvious parallels of near-death experiences with a lot of other teachings and things that you don't even think are talking about the same thing. So that's something that's fun.
Oh yeah,
I noticed.
Like the whole moon actually being like a soul harvesting device where once you die, it's like your soul gets captured by the moon, then shot back into the earth to be reincarnated. And then,
that one's such a trip.
all the NDE interviews, they're like, yo, you see the light and it's like so beautiful, so warm, it's so comforting, it's so pleasurable, and you don't want to leave. And then you have these people saying, like, you idiot, if you step into the light, that's the trap. That's how the reptilians get you. That's how, yeah. Totally. It's so funny. It's like it's psycho shit. I'm like, step into the light, and they're like, no, don't step into the light.
When I first heard that for the first time in my life, sorry, but when I first heard that for the first time in my life, like unlocked a whole new level of fear that I
yeah, light is Lucifer. You should not step into the light. That seems pretty obvious, right? The whole idea of the light is that it's
well, when you put it that way.
Well, I think like what I decided on, the position I decided on was like, you know what? If I have to fucking redo this over and over again, then fine. I could fucking do this all day. I'm game. Make me fucking do this over and over and over and over again because I've accepted it at this point. And if you're gonna make me do this, fuck it. I'll play this stupid game as many times as you want.
Light is death. You know,
Yeah.
the death light bringer is the death bringer.
Well, every time I,
Go ahead. Every time
what were you saying, bro?
Oh, just like, you know, you put light on bacteria, it kills it. You put something in darkness, it allows it to propagate and grow. You know, like light is actually the cause of sterilizing and cleaning and killing and cooking and fire. It's just like light is destruction.
It's all about balance. Photosynthesis is a thing, you know. You need equal parts. Lucifer is Prometheus, you know. It's like, oh no, too much knowledge. Too much knowledge. You're not allowed to have that much knowledge, kids.
Are you talking to your kid?
A little bit of knowledge is very dangerous when you're a kid, you know.
Too much knowledge, child. Step away from the knowledge.
Yeah, no, I mean, what's that one family that has like an abnormal amount of contact with the lady, as they say, and it's like there's like international like multiple countries intelligence agencies are studying them. I really hate to go onto TikTok and look who it is, but because I need more details in order to make it easier to look up. But there's
I was trying to figure out what to find.
Heavily studied for their contact with higher consciousnesses.
I don't know I don't even know where to begin. Like what I would type to find this.
I'll be back.
I said spiritual lady higher consciousness, and all I could do is find Madame Blavatsky. So I'm not sure if that was.
That's the origin point right there. I was getting at. I'm just joking. Kind of not joking.
She's definitely a popularist. She popularized a lot of ideas that were at the time. I think a lot of people had these ideas, but books keep those ideas alive when all those people die. So she's famous on a level that she didn't have to be if she hadn't put out, you know, these collections.
She was kind of like the ringleader in a sense. Like I feel like she was a gatherer, you know, not necessarily like a creator. You know, it depends on how you look at it though, because we're all doing that, right? We all borrow from each other.
Guy. She looks like Steve Bannon. Oh my god! I can't unsee it.
Yo, that's a handsome woman right there.
I think you might be onto something. That's
kind of creepy, actually. Now,
trip. Never thought about that.
Huh.
Can't see it. It's crazy.
Well, she's a psychic, right, or something like.
She's
I don't know.
A mystic.
Yeah,
she
I think my theory on like
she talks to the secret chiefs or whatever, right? Like that have the hidden knowledge from Agartha and shit.
Talk to people in the Hollow Earth. Talk to people on planet Venus. You know, all that stuff. Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I don't know about all that.
I don't know if I want to go here. Never mind. It's too much. I was talking to shit. I want to say it, but I don't, you know?
Say it.
Okay, so I was brainstorming with, and we didn't get to the bottom of anything, but I was talking to Grok the other day, and like I was trying to figure out like all of this like Tartarian shit, like what's going on with all this. Like something clearly went down from about like 1850 to 1920 or whatever, right? And then that leads you in to you learn about this what do you call it? The census from 1890 that was super complex and detailed, and it was the first one put on like electronic punch cards and all this shit. And then that gets lost. But here's the weird thing is I noticed also that the secret teachings from Blavatsky came out 2 years before that. And like all of these people that were into Blavatsky and the Nazis and all of that came after her were super interested in like genetics. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was just really interesting that like, what was it about this? And like all of these people in the know back then were really interested in her book. And those things that she was talking about. So like, then they just suddenly come up with this extremely advanced census that asks like way more cross-referencing questions than usual, asking like individual, like, you know, the members of the family and if they spoke a language and where they come from and all of this, like just so much information more than usual. And but then that is the only one that's lost, which is really weird. That the really complicated one that's like on electronic punch cards, which you would think would be really easier than ever to make duplicates of, but there was only one copy. And they put the only one copy next to a fireplace vault, a fireproof vault. But like the vault, like contained all of the other censuses, other than the one that got destroyed that was super advanced and on electronic punch cards. And I just kind of kept going from there. What's up with this, with the Blavatsky? What's up with the Nazis? What's up with this census? Why doesn't anybody know who their great-great-great-grandparents are, or great-great-grandparents, depending on how old they are, because of the census being missing? This one census being missing, and so many people don't know who their great-great-grandparents are in America because of this one census going missing, or burning, or whatever happened to it. And then not only that, but the same year that they took us off the gold standard is the exact same year that they decided to destroy what was left over, because they saved a little bit of it from being waterlogged and burned and all of that. But let's just destroy the rest. We don't need that anymore. And it was the same year as getting off the gold standard in like 1933 or something like that, which I thought was interesting.
Right. So alien time travelers from the future have been stealing our gold since World War II.
Something like that, basically.
Yeah. And then there's that whole, syphilis epidemic, whatever, like the mumps disease. So there's all these people lost their ability to have children in the 19th century. So you have completely, new family lines, or royal families who couldn't have kids adopting kids, hardy peasant stock, right? The foundling thing.
Goes back to always does.
And weren't there
Goes back to
giants
what?
too? Wasn't a part of like the mud flood thing to cover up the giants?
Everybody, Smithsonian looks at all these places, right? And they have to return the bones to these native tribes. But Florida, Oakland, Ohio, all over the place. Colombia, there's giant 10-foot tall skeletons, right? And they're not allowed to exhume the bodies because they belong to native tribes. So even though they did exhume them, they had to return them. Bones of 100-year-old.
The giants of today probably live underground, right? They probably live in like these crazy subterranean cities or whatever.
Or just like their multimillionaire kids, or live like above their house. The houses of George Bush. George Bush is like 6'6" or something, right? They're like super tall.
Just like Barron Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, is Barron like some kind of like Epstein Island experiment?
That
Well, if
seems
you
like-
had that
He could
much
be a
money,
designer, baby. It's very
like
possible.
if you had the
money
opportunity,
into the designer babies, Epstein put all the money into that. So yeah,
if
he's
you
an
could
Epstein
splice
baby.
Nephilim DNA into your kid, I mean, that's kind of badass, right?
I found that family, by the way. It's Chris Bledsoe and his entire family. BLEDSO.
Who was Bledsoe? I've heard of that name.
Yeah, his whole family. They've been doing a lot of rounds on the podcast circuits. But yeah, no, they're what do you
Such a
call it?
badass last name. Like, that's a cool name.
Major intelligence agency.
To them out in the woods. So what's the deal with the
They sound like
Bledsoes?
vampire killers.
They're
Straight
just-
up. Like, that's like if
Awesome.
vampire
The
killers had a last name, it would be Bledsoe.
They get a lot of direct downloads from this like angel lady about
Oh, it's that dude.
yeah it's like why he's like why me, why are you telling me, and it's like you're the picked you to tell everyone this. Sorry bud, but sorry for your bad.
I haven't seen it. So this is kind of like the new guy.
He's like, I don't even like aliens.
David Wilcock thing or whatever.
Oh, dude, David Will Subcock for UFO. I miss him.
Oh, they had him on, Danny Jones interviewed him. Okay.
He's been on something lately? Because he fell off for a long time.
Well, Danny Jones, I don't know when this was shot. Danny Jones looks younger in this because he has longer hair. But
I still check in on him every once in a while. He does a show every every Sunday. It's been a while since I've watched him, like maybe 6 months or something. But I used to watch him every once in a while, be like, "What's up with David?" But he's an interesting character, that's for sure.
Nicholas Chris Bledsoe. Okay. And so he's talking, what's the deal? So he's saying that there's a group of aliens that are doing what?
Well, he was trying to say basically, like, well, another guy was talking about him and he's like, it's clearly demons. Like, he's clearly talking to demons. They're like going against like the fucking doctrine of Jesus, basically, with what he's saying. So I don't know. That was something that I saw that people are saying.
I still think that Jesus was a woman, and the story of Christ is a story of the divine feminine, and it was just perverted by people who wrote it for you know, to gatekeep spirituality and have a stranglehold on power and patriarchy.
So it's not just that Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene. It's that Jesus was Mary Magdalene. That's your conspiracy theory.
I think Jesus was a woman, and it's hidden in the story of Christ. I think the crucifixion is obviously a sort of sexual allegory. Traveling with the
was it like burn the witch or something?
Well,
That's just what. But Romans did that. Romans like to crucify dudes they didn't like. That's just part of history.
And you know, traveling with the disciples are all signify the signs. And you know, you're betrayed by one of the signs and crucified and are reborn, and the act of birth is in a way being reborn or giving birth. It's just attributing all of these miracles that can be performed by any person with a functioning uterus to like a man who is the son of the Creator, who is also a man, by the way. Apparently, but it's what?
Yeah, the woman came from Adam. That is kind of an interesting inversion, right?
I still think that the Holy Spirit should just be allowed to be a woman. You know, that's just me. Like, if we're gonna have two men, at least let the Holy Spirit be a woman.
Yeah,
present as a.
That's how
I think that some people. I think that in some ways the Holy Spirit is referred to in feminine terms in a lot of ways within the Bible, but that is a whole other thing.
The three thing is just weird. You can't be like Father 1, Son 2, Holy Spirit 3. What is this? What is this whole three? Like, this should be 4. You know, like Holy Spirit, wisdom, or wisdom. Holy
The Tetraforce.
Yeah, it's clearly they're skipping somebody.
The sign of the cross.
Yeah, there's a conspiracy theory within Zelda, right? That when Zelda Ocarina of Time first was being released, they had a shield, and on the shield it had the Triforce on it, but then below it on the bottom is a downward triangle that would have fit into the 4th spot. And it's like this whole thing that the Tetraforce is really what it is, but they don't know how to like incorporate it into the trilogy or whatever, into the triune. And it's like it's weird because it's almost like an entire like cosmic it's almost a cosmic allegory of its own, but it's within also the game of Zelda that people are like making it into this conspiracy. But you also could draw it out into all like, you know, all teachings.
Yeah, absolutely. The Trinity and then the missing. I mean, they've said before that Zelda is Christian, right? Zelda Christian.
Yes. Yeah, he definitely is. Back in it was either the NES or the SNES days, in one of the booklets, it has him in a church praying to Jesus, literally. And they used to put his shield, used to have a cross on it. He was straight up a crusader knight, pretty much at first. But like Japan had the whole thing with like bringing things to the States that they didn't want to have any religious controversy, so they had to axe out all of that, and eventually it just kind of left the whole story. It's only in the background of Zelda now. It's not on the forefront.
That's so nuts. Zelda's a Christian crusader.
Exactly. There it is.
But
yes.
Anyone? Majora's Mask? Is that hinting at anything for? Anyway, sorry, I'm still on.
No, elaborate.
Go for it. I want to hear it.
It's serving as a mask for the
Majora does sound like a woman's name, doesn't it?
Well, Majora is there's the Majora and there's the menorah, the lips, the lady.
Okay.
Whatever. It's a
Majora's Mask. Okay, yeah.
How many candles does Majora's Mask have? Is it a menorah?
The real iceberg of that game of Majora's Mask, by the way, is that Link is already dead, and that essentially what he's going through is like this constant cycle, like a purgatory-esque cycle. And because that's the game, like you're supposed to save Hyrule or whatever, or not.
Well,
Hyrule,
also,
the place you're in,
also
from the moon,
the
from
thing
destroying it, and then you constantly restart it every
I
time
get so
you fail the
excited.
journey.
I don't mean
You
to
fail the
interrupt.
fucking- You fail the journey, and then you have to restart all through the whole thing again. And every time you play through it, the idea is you kind of do something differently that'll change the outcome ultimately for you to actually close the loop.
So
wait,
what I look
why
at Majora's
is-
Mask is,
Yeah,
can I say this really quick?
Yeah, because I'm stuck on the vagina thing now. Go ahead.
So
Zelda and the
what?
vagina.
Before I lose this, because it's hard to put into words, what I see Majora's Mask is like, so Link, he's the hero of time, and he lives over and over and over and over, and he keeps on having to do this thing, and nobody ever understands what he does. He just has to do it, and people don't even remember because he's the hero of time, so he puts time right, and like once he's gone through all of these struggles and everything, nobody even knows what he's done. So Majora's Mask is kind of like his nightmare of trying to figure out what is worth living for at that point. That's what I see it as.
Dude, this like brings all new Majora's Mask, of course, and the transgender Zelda. So there's something really deeply important about transgender Zelda, where Link is Zelda, because everyone thinks Zelda is Link. Everyone thinks Link is Zelda. Most people who don't
Totally.
know the lore, like, and a lot of people, they're very confused because this game is always about this boy who's trying to find his princess. Bro, there's some weird trans ideology about Zelda, I think. I mean, and this Christian, especially this.
I think that's kind of more of an egregore that has grown up around it.
I guess.
Perhaps.
But if everyone's confusing the gender of Zelda, and you're going back to everyone thinking Jesus is a man, but blue collar goth father is saying this is actually like a Da Vinci Code thing where it's hiding not just Mary Magdalene, but like the femininity of Christ, the Pistis Sophia, the Gnostic Christ Sophia. Is that what Zelda's trying to show us? Is it really just zeitgeist? Is it really just egregore?
Could be, but at the same time, Zelda needs her own game because she's got the Triforce of Wisdom, and if they could do something really cool with that.
Wait, what's that?
Which I look at the Triforce of Wisdom kind of like the Holy Spirit, right? So
Link
Zelda
cross-dresses
is the
in
Holy
Breath of the Wild.
Spirit.
What's that other character that is alleged Princess Zelda, masked ally to Link?
Oh my God! Link does breath. What? Link cross dresses in Breath of the Wild. Is this real? No. Is
Yeah,
this real?
he has to look like one of the Gyarados ladies because they're only women, and in order to get into the town, he has to be a woman at first to earn their trust.
Bro. There's so much to this. I just started emulating Switch games because I never wanted to play these games on a freaking phone-sized screen.
Yo, Andreas, did you ever play through any Final Fantasy games?
Not all the way
No,
through.
right? All right.
Yeah, they're really long. I played them, but I never finished it. Like I have the new. I got through a good amount of 13, which is the one. Hold on, Final Fantasy 13. Is that the one you like? Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that Sheik is people are saying that Zelda, that sort of masked assassin character. I forget from which game exactly, but you guys know Sheik.
It's from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Is that?
I can't believe you got me Nintendo spurging right now.
Dude, which Final Fantasy did I play? I can't even remember now. Was it like 17?
The only way to
or something?
hide be a male version of this tribe that had died out.
What's the Final Fantasy where they go driving around in a car?
15.
It's 15? Yeah, I did 15. I got through most
right.
of 15.
That was a pretty shitty one, to be honest.
Yeah, I was like, what am I getting into?
I really liked it anyway.
I did too. That's the
I liked
thing.
the king stuff. The king stuff was awesome.
Dude, look at when boobs were boobs. Like this is way like I want DLSS 5 for.
They tried to do a cross-medium thing, like you played that game and then you watched the movie in theater, so you could get like the full prequel story to it. It was this whole thing that they tried.
So yeah, you love Final Fantasy. What do you break down Final Fantasy? Because every Final Fantasy is so freaking different. You can't just jump from one Final Fantasy to the next and understand what's going on. They're like, but there's something that ties them all together, which is there
was supposed to be a Final Fantasy game that was going to also be a Zelda game. And it never came to fruition. There was supposed to be a time traveling.
Isn't that what
Xenoblade it was actually
is? Xenoblade is.
It was fake. So here's the thing. Is I still have a theory that it wasn't fake, that it wasn't like April Fool's, that it was a real game that they were going to work on, that that Nintendo and Squaresoft were going to link up on, and it was going to be called Link to the Future.
Oh man, they're cutting him. This is too much classified Nintendo information. They shut him down.
If you want a real like time travel JRPG, you should check out Chrono Trigger.
The April Fool's video, it has what do you call it? It has concept art that they later used in the actual series. And it's like, if this was an April Fool's joke, where did they get that concept art?
There is Link to the Future. It's not a game, but someone did make the short film.
No, like look up Link to the Future. There's actually a video from like 2007 or 2009, and it was an April Fool's joke, but like I think it was legit. I think they're still working on it sometime.
Well, I mean, Link to the Future just sounds like, why is that not Xenoblade? Isn't that's literally what Xenoblade's about, right? That's the whole point. It's like
Kinda,
a Final
right?
Fantasy style Zelda game for Nintendo.
Kinda.
I think that is what you're. To me, that's what they created. They're like, we
That
need to
could
build a
be.
new property,
Yeah, well, it's funny because Xenoblade, the technology that they used for Xenoblade, they used for Breath of the Wild. Like the company that makes Xenoblade actually worked on Breath of the Wild, and there's a lot of crossover.
Dude, I just started really realizing I don't want to switch.
Very astute that you say that.
I never wanted to deal with like the Nintendo stuff, and after they like arrested Mig, I was like I don't like Nintendo. But I have to admit, like Nintendo really well optimized. If you want to play some of those games on your computer, you can get the game for PS5 version, or you can get the computer version, like the Steam version, and the game might be like, let's say it's a 60 gigabyte game. The same game, and I can't really tell too much of a difference on the Switch, is optimized for the Switch at like 4 gigabytes, like 6 gigabytes. They can make the game a tenth of the size, and then you use an upscaler to make it 4K, and then all of a sudden it looks as in 60 frames per second. So you can play. It's so well optimized. I have to respect that about the Switch,
So basically, Nintendo sucks, which makes sense because did you know that Nintendo was born in the same year as Hitler? Coincidence? I think not. That's one for you sinkheads out there.
I don't think so.
Yes, I think so.
Nintendo was created in 1889. Okay.
Yeah. They were.
I thought it was older.
That's my birthday, by the way. I was born on September 23rd.
I thought it was older than Hitler, but no, you're right. I guess it's actually slightly younger because September is after April.
Yeah. So, but
As one would.
when we talk about all these like JRPGs, what it really makes me think about is how like Japanese media seems to be steeped in all like this mysticism and Gnostic like themes. And it sometimes is like really on the nose. But Colin said this once. He was like, and they use it for like their fucking cartoons and video games. Like it's like their children's shit. And it's funny to them. And even on the like the technical side, like I also like, you know, a piece of Japanese media that's becoming really prophetic is Digimon. You know, because like now the net is being like, you know, literally saturated by digital monsters. You know, it's like it's eventually just going to be like everyone gets their fucking Digimon, right?
I mean, yeah, mutant animals that are coming real. I mean, you know that pocket monsters were in Nausicaa originally. Nausicaa is about like a nuclear wasteland that humans have genetically modified everything and destroyed civilization. And now there's like mutant things. And the Nausicaa girl has this little Pikachu that comes out of her jacket. So all of the ideas that Japan has introduced, they come from this post-apocalyptic world idea, right? Steingate, Serial Experiments Lane, Attack on Titan, all of even what was the one I saw recently? Future Boy Conan, which was Miyazaki's first movie that he directed or produced, and it's about isolated islands after the destruction of humanity, and they're all living on these islands that are, they aren't aware that there's other islands where people live. So it's a reset culture, and Japan seems to be even saying, look, they are themselves a reset, that they went to this island reset.
I like to joke around saying like the Japanese are going to go the way of the Hopi people, like just like ascend to the fifth dimension, and this is what it looks like. They just fucking stop existing in the material world. It's like, where'd they go? All of a sudden.
Anasazi.
Yeah.
What was that one?
Isn't that the Anasazi, right? And the Hopi.
They disappeared for sure. But there's other groups that disappeared as well, right? In Argentina and around the world, different groups that might have. I think it's like Taiwan.
The Mayans, Aztecs. Well, Aztecs got killed.
What was that Alex Jones meme that went around? It was he explained the plot of Neon Evangelical something or others.
Neon Vagina Genesis Genetical.
Yeah. Isn't that like a thing where
oh yeah, that's definitely steeped in symbolism and all that crap.
Roast me for not knowing the anime or the whatever.
They hijacked the whole creation myth in Neon Genesis. They're like, oh yeah, the Earth was seeded by this super advanced alien intelligence and all that shit, and that's kind of the reframing of Adam and Eve.
I mean, that's the whole point of Evangelion, right? Neon Genesis.
It's funny how much these stories get recycled of like in like Halo, right? The Forerunners, and then you have in StarCraft, you have the Xel'Naga.
Yeah, because I said this.
That's a story that I think lives within us, like within our DNA or something.
No, well, what you're referring to is the monomyth, right? It's the idea that every story essentially follows the same pattern. You have the hero, the protagonist, they get a call to action, they decide to answer it, and then they have to go through basically a bunch of shit. And once they go through a bunch of shit and they've seen some shit, then they come out changed, and then they take the problem on again, and then the loop.
But what is it with these like ancient builder race thing that is always popping up? Because it's within the monomyth too.
I mean, the builders are. I mean, the thing about the Jewish lore on the Japanese shields, right? Like the shield that we talked about earlier is not just like Zelda's regalia, the sword, his weird satchel, and he just gone. He missed it. But like the shield, bro. Like, what's the deal with the Japanese? Hold on, Japanese, Hebrew.
Yeah, weren't they fighting vampire witches like 100?
The Japa Jews.
History, Israelites, History.
Japan,
the last tribes of Israel. It's a cool conspiracy here about the Japanese being one of the lost tribes.
I love kosher sushi.
The shield, like, where's the Japanese regalia? Japanese regalia, Hebrew. Gotta find it. The Japanese Jewish common ancestry theory. There's a wiki on this. Fringe theory appeared in the 17th century as a hypothesis which claimed the Japanese people were the main part of the lost 10 tribe. A later version portrays them as descendants of a tribe of Central Asian Jewish converts to Nestorian Christianity. Some versions of the theory applied to the whole population, but others only claim that a specific group within the Japanese people had descended from Jews, right? And there's a bunch of weird things like the Jewish demon Japan story, the Tengu. Is that the one?
Oh yeah, the Tengu are Jewish the whole time.
Well, because they have these little, they have a giant nose and they have a little hat, this little kind of
I see it. I know where this is going.
Cube hat, yeah. And but the Japanese regalia doesn't. See the little cube right.
Well, do you know about the Ainu? Apparently, like the people they were originally the Ainu there, and they just got like wiped out.
So the Ainu lived in the north.
Well, now they're in Hokkaido. Like the remnants, the remnants of the Ainu.
But they still have a lot of European look still, but they're far more Asiafied at this point. But they were a Nordic or Slavic
cute
group. Yeah, well, they didn't look Japanese. They didn't look Mongolian, as you were saying.
Cute people.
Whatever that means, right?
So Japan was the original Israel. Is that what we're saying?
So they're saying that one of the 12 tribes went off to Israel and that they isolated and kept their traditions going. So there's also, like, if I'm trying to find the Japanese regalia, is this it? Yeah, the Japanese imperial regalia. Imperial regalia? Imperial. It was imperial. Okay. The sacred treasures. The sword Kusanagi no Tsurugi, the mirror Yata no Kagami, and the jewel Yasakani Magatama, which symbolize the emperor's right to rule. So the sword is just straight up Zelda's sword, right? Here's the regalia. There, I was trying to find it. Okay. You got this freaking jelly bean. You have this not Japanese looking sword. Does not look like a katana. That's a very, to me, that seems, I wanted to say European, but like Illyrian or Mediterranean or Middle Eastern. Like, that's not your average Japanese looking sword. It kind of looks more like
almost alien, right?
You could say that if you want, because the jelly bean's there, that's giving you ideas. I could see it as alien. I see it more like Trojan or something. It just reminds me of Romans and Trojans.
Greco-Roman.
Yeah, Mediterranean, right? Illyrian.
Sweet.
Like that's why I say like Croatian.
Honestly, looks like a pretty functional sword. You could just hack away all day with that thing.
Doesn't look bad. Yeah, it needs a little bit of effort to fix that up here.
A little TLC.
And then they only show you this side of the shield, but I've seen a picture of it somewhere. I want to find it again. That shows the back of this, and it has some sort of Semitic writing in like Proto-Arabic or cuneiform, like Aramaic-looking writing, Phoenician-looking lettering.
Looks like a mandala almost in the middle.
Yeah, for sure. I see that for sure. But yeah, so these things are hidden so that no one knows where they are. Although, because of the way someone got sloppy with it, the records, someone saw that it was being shipped at one point and it was moved. And right when it was moved, it's not supposed to be moved in the lifetime of the emperor. The emperor is supposed to always keep this around them. But the emperor got sick and tired and he retired and gave the empire to his son.
He gave up his jelly bean?
Yeah, like 5 years ago or something like that. 10 years ago. 2000. Hold on. New Japanese emperor. When was this? It was like 2019. Yeah.
Oh, he looks like a stand-up young man.
He took over Naruhito. Hito was born 1960, February 23rd, eldest son of Emperor Emeritus Akihito. So Akihito stepped down, which is unusual. Usually, like, you die and then your kid becomes the emperor, but they stepped down so Naruhito could become the emperor. And this was 2019, right before the end of the world, the quarantine, everything changing. And it was associated with the renovation of the temple and the moving of the regalia. Like, after he gave up the regalia, he couldn't bear it back up, apparently, Akihito. So it went to his son Naruhito. But yes, if they don't show it off, it has Jewish writing on the back of it, which is part of the conspiracy theory, if you call it that.
I really like that word regalia, because it's funny. You mentioned you played Final Fantasy 15. That's what the prince called the family car. It was called the regalia.
Oh, that's right. It was.
Yeah, passed down from his father, the king. It's like, oh, I'll let you take out the regalia, son. He's like, thanks, Dad.
Dude, where'd that go? I was just looking.
And it was like a
back.
badass car.
It
Yo,
was
Audi
great.
had a deal for that game too. Yeah.
Dude, that game was great.
Regalia.
Honestly, I thought Final Fantasy 15 was a good game. It's an underrated game. I
was
liked
just
it the most.
It was just the pacing was bad, but it had cool things going for it. Like imagine the four of us just on a journey. So like one of us could sacrifice our lives to save the world. And that was like the whole, you know, the burden. It would probably be Andreas. Like we would be driving Andreas. It's like, oh, this is so sad. We get one last boys trip together before he sacrifices his life and then saves us all.
Could be. I mean, there's good
Tragic.
sushi in that game. They've got like
Yeah.
a nice restaurant in town. It's like Grand Theft Auto Final Fantasy. Like this future. It just seemed more relatable because it's about Japan, the way Japan actually is right now. You know, a bunch of Japanese people go to LA, they come back home, they drive around in their car. It's just something about that game felt the most
It was like Hawaii.
Yeah. Or you know, yeah. There's something immersive in. I liked it a lot. I felt like it.
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
I
Hawaii
started all the
kinda.
other games, but that's the one I finished. I don't
Well,
know
because
why
think about
I
it this
got-
way: like most of the time, they take place in some fucking medieval setting or some
Right.
magical
like
fantasy.
Same
Final
here.
Fantasy 13. Yeah. Final Fantasy.
And this one,
13,
you
I
get
just
like a-
couldn't
you
get
get-
down with.
You get Audi cars, and I think like there was like all like product placement in it. It was weird, you know, but it was cool.
I want
like seeing-
I want to care more about the other ones. You know, like Final Fantasy 13 looks pretty good, and people say it's more fun or better, but I just don't care. And I don't know, 11, 12, 15, 9,
Yeah,
7's
8.
pretty cool. Like if you play
seven.
it, like
Yeah, everyone likes 7. 7's the
and-
best. Everyone loves 7.
I
and
never
9,
finished
7,
though.
9, and 10 are pretty cool.
Well, 7 is the coolest because it's very
I
contemporary.
finished
right?
it,
It's
but
about-
I was sick and tired of the last boss, so I just watched it on a YouTube video to my shame, to my eternal shame.
whatever.
I just wanted to see the ending, and I was tired of fucking facing the final boss, so I just watched it.
But the game is cool because it's literally about an energy company that's sucking the life out of the planet, and you basically have to like play as eco-terrorists. And yeah, we're just gonna like do like mass murder but this is good because we're saving the world.
Oh, straight
and
up.
that was
It's
pretty
so
cool.
cool.
That was fucking sick.
What's the plot of Final Fantasy VIII? I'm only asking because I made a gunblade.
I think
It
it's
was
just
a lot
about,
like
terror.
Golden Sun, actually, how the life force is being sucked out of the.
Yeah.
I'm delayed again, aren't I? This is killing me.
It's all good. I like 7. 7 was cool. I think 8 was just about paramilitary child soldiers. Another fun.
Do you
fun
like
little game.
7 as much? Do you like 7 or like 7 the new version better? Like the new Fantasy 7, whatever it's called.
I'd say the new one is more accessible, right? Like it's beats like staring at like boxy pixel people, you know, just reading text instead of hearing like or seeing like full rendered scenes and shit.
And which one is the absolute best? I'm trying to look at the rank score, see what this guy thinks. But what do you think is the best Final Fantasy? It can't be 7. Just because people like it doesn't mean it's the best.
Well, I think it's the one that people connect with usually the most is the one they fucking like grow up with.
I mean,
It's like, I remember when I
kinda
was
just
12.
is the best.
Which one you say is the best? Call on your microphones back and forth. I have no idea. So.
I'm saying 7 is basically the best. Like
You
it's
think
just
7 is the best.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna let you guys go. I love you. I'm just gonna bounce because yeah.
It's working. Just say why is 7 the best before you go, at least, you know.
See you later.
Love you, man. Oh,
Damn it. All right. Why is 7 the best?
nostalgia.
Well, I just explained it to you. I
Design.
mean, 7 out of all of them, it actually features.
And the whole vision of it like is just so amazing. And it was a full story. Like the way it went into it, it was the one that resonates the longest. I think it should have been made into a movie out of any of them instead of like the Spirits Within or whatever. They should have just made Final Fantasy VII the movie, because
they did have a movie.
the themes of it's so amazing.
They did have a movie. It was called Advent Children, man. They did make a movie out of that series.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right, but it was like a side thing. I'm talking about making the video game itself into a movie. You know what I mean?
So what,
Instead
you
of
want to
like
take like
a
you
side
want to take
piece.
like a fucking 40-something hour experience and just condense it into like a 2-hour movie? That's gonna be horrible.
Or a series would be good, right? They could do a Final Fantasy show.
Oh fuck
Maybe.
yeah!
I don't know. I think it's interesting that every single Final Fantasy is so different from the last one. I think that's a good idea that everyone does. It doesn't have to be the same story. And if you were to make Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 7 Part 6, like that seems interesting. You can do
Well, it doesn't
that.
even make any sense. Like, what the heck is a Final Fantasy? It's never the Final Fantasy.
I think because Final and Ultimate originally was supposed to be like the Ultimate Fantasy, and then they translated Ultimate as Final.
Do you know why it's called that?
Is that not why?
I see mouth moving, but I don't hear anything.
So the reason it's called Final Fantasy is because Squaresoft was.
Are you kidding me? Oh!
Everyone in the chat should donate to Colin's Starlink.
Jesus, yeah, Colin, why don't you have Starlink? You're a trucker, you need Starlink. Why is it called Final Fantasy? Did anybody else know? I'm gonna look it up for him because
Better, I don't know.
You know, as far as game series and producers that came out of Japan, I still think the most novel one has always been Hideo Kojima. He's the guy that, first of all, he's got this crazy prophetic vision for his shit, which, you know, like a lot of the stuff that he makes games about just turns out to come true. Second, he's like a Westaboo, which is really awesome, you know, to see like a huge game developer come out. He's like, and he clearly just loves Western culture the way like Westerners would love, like, say, like Japanese culture. And it's awesome. Some of it gets a little dicey, like in Death Stranding when you're drinking literally Monster Energy, which was pretty funny. But yeah, it's just cool shit. He makes cool shit.
it's real life. Okay, so because according to ChatGPT, the last game story, partially true. The company was struggling financially, and this was going to be their final attempt at a hit. Hence the final.
Yes, that's what I was trying to tell you.
Oh, okay. So it's their final try.
Right. It was like he put all of his dreams into one project, one final time, and it was going to be the last thing that they ever made. And so they just shot for the stars, basically, and it became this, you know, beloved project and series.
So that's
went on into the future.
That's interesting to me because when people were talking about the graphic issue, that they're so worried about the DLS 5 situation, that they're worried about graphics like that are too good for the artists that are using them. But Final Fantasy, you know, like it's a game that it's not like they wanted it to look the way it did when they made it. They just didn't have any other options. And what makes Final Fantasy good is its gameplay loop, because it's a game that could be a tabletop RPG. You could literally have a chessboard with chess pieces and a dice, and just you could play this game because it's all about initiative, roll for impact, which weapon, which power you're using against which monster. It's much more elaborate of a gameplay loop than it is a graphics game. And now, you know, Square Enix, they make their games with better and better graphics because the gameplay loop is so popular. But
I don't think that's really what makes it popular among like its diehard fans, though. I think really it's like the people who get into it at a specific age where life is like pretty fucking shitty. So here you get introduced to your first Final Fantasy game, and it really is like so engaging, so immersive, and you're like, you really can't just turn off from the world and get so enmeshed in this. And I think that's how people really start giving a shit about the characters. Because they're like, you know, as an angsty teen, you're like, well, life makes me feel like shit, but these Final Fantasy characters are very compelling, you know, a lot more interesting than real life. At least that's my relationship with it, you know, as an angsty teen growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you couldn't have said it any better. That's 100%.
Yeah.
What was your first Final Fantasy game, TerrorRisk?
I think it was 10, Final Fantasy 10. And the character was super relatable because he had like beef with his dad. And at the time I had beef with my dad. So I was like, damn, it's like they know me.
What's the difference between Final Fantasy 10 and 10 Part 2? It looks like Final Fantasy.
Well, 10 is about the dude, is about the kid, and 10-2 is about his girlfriend. Because at the end of 10, it turns out he was just like a projection of spiritual energy. He wasn't really a member of that world. So at the end of that, he has to like go back to the spirit realm or whatever. And 10-2, you play as the girl who he left behind, and she's like, I know he's out there.
Yeah, wasn't it like a dream or something?
Yeah, he was a projection, a spiritual projection from the past, and what's like a ghost essentially. And what
He's
and
a Thetan.
is that not? Yeah, is that not like emotionally compelling? You're like, oh my god, like this is a real
Yeah,
romance.
so he wasn't. It turned out he wasn't even time traveling. He didn't wake up in a different world. Like the world materialized him in order to help.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a lot like Zelda, the hero of time. It's a lot like it.
Welcome to the sanctum of planetology, right? I'm convinced that Final Fantasy is just Scientology. It's like the biggest. I mean, from all my experiences, so the first I didn't really play Final Fantasy as a kid.
Have a seat.
Like I avoided it, and I was like, okay, now I should. So I got 7 on the PlayStation at a certain point, but that was well after seeing 1999's Final Fantasy movie. Final Fantasy movie, first interaction with Final Fantasy, which is probably the wrong way to get into Final Fantasy because no one likes that.
That's
movie.
what I was trying to say. They should have made Final Fantasy VII instead of that.
Spirits
Anything
Within.
but that.
But they already made that, and they didn't see
Yeah.
the point of doing that. So Final Fantasy Spirits Within, interesting. Spirits Within.
That movie actually kind of fucking rocked, man. That was a
I
cool
actually liked
fucking
it a lot.
movie.
It has Steve Buscemi.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Well, it's literally L. Ron Hubbard's
You
story.
actually you go back on it and it's a lot better than you think it was. But I still was kind of pissed off that they didn't make Final Fantasy VII because at the time you have to understand when Final Fantasy VII came out and I was just this little kid, it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. Like the art style and everything, I was like, this is a vision. Like this is something special. I knew right away when I saw it that it was going to be something special, and then it turned out to be. And I have a lot of love for 7. I do.
I mean, I want to be able to show this while I hear the other video, and I don't know how I'm going to do that. I mean, because I want to, because like, all right.
For this confederacy of the 21 adjacent stars and its 76 planets. The incident too.
I have an idea.
It is
Maybe like I'll show that. No, but you can't share a screen at the same time.
You know what? Maybe this deserves its own video edit. Like write the essay, narrate it, edit the video, and release it. How Final Fantasy is just fucking Scientology.
It really is. If you watch Final Fantasy, it's about the world after aliens have attacked, and you find out the alien spirits are just confused souls who were in a prison planet.
Wait, correction. You find out that's what the aliens actually are. Like the aliens that invaded the Earth, it's not them, it's their spirits, because they all died like painfully and do like much suffering.
Their souls or their thetans are confused, and this is weird. Like I remember as that scene's coming on and they're explaining it, that this is what's really going on, why the aliens, when they touch you, it hurts you, because they're trying to connect to your body, because they don't have a body to connect to, because their souls forgotten who they are. And I was like, what the hell? This is just, and I remember knowing more about Scientology than some kids, because California, like they're in the neighborhood.
This is just L. Ron Hubbard verse.
This is L. Ron Hubbard. And I'm thinking that Steve Buscemi goes on and he's like, this is all making a weird kind of sense. Like that's his line. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not making any sense. It's like, it's making no sense at all. Plus, Steve Buscemi, you're not even a Scientologist. What the hell are you doing right now? But I mean, maybe that's the point of all Final Fantasy, not just Final Fantasy Spirits Within, the whole series. The Japanese are into Shintoism, they're into spirits, and that somehow someone somewhere, they studied L. Ron Hubbard, but they're not technically part of the Church of Scientology. They're like free zone. I think that's what the whole deal is. And what's the point of Final Fantasy?
It's an interesting theory.
They have to help do this like auditing session where you use a roll for initiative in order to combat like the mental angst, and replay it over and over again, going through this in order to get a perfect score against these monsters, to release these spirits, right? To release the spirits that are inside of these monsters that are just like taking over pigs and beasts and different, to me, that's Dianetics. Final Fantasy's whole gameplay loop is Dianetics, with a little dramatized, because you're doing sword fights, but you're not really doing sword fights. That's just the thing you're seeing, the material reality. It's the illusion for the Dianetics auditing, which is the roll for initiative gameplay loop.
Kind of reminds me of that movie Sucker Punch and like the 5 different layers of fantasy over the grim reality of what was happening in the mental institution.
I
It's
mean,
also
yeah.
what's also the interesting loop of like the more you kill, the more you harvest like their soul energy, and the stronger your character becomes. You gain more abilities. You harvest their abilities.
Yeah, I mean, you're becoming, yeah, you rise OT levels, you know, operating thetan levels, which
Yeah.
are how powerful you are of a gameplay. I mean, Final Fantasy is Scientology on
Yeah.
every level.
They don't let you work for the church or like do any of the higher level stuff if you've ever taken LSD or if you admit to it.
Really?
Yeah,
LSD is out.
desperate. I tried to get a job with the church, and they're like, I went through all of the things. I even did like a shadow day, just like doing some filing in the basement. Got the worst cluster headache of my entire life. It was a nightmare. But
Wow.
all of that, I did this like interview where they hooked me up to the e-meter and where they were doing an interview. And as soon as I mentioned that I had taken acid, they're like, "Oh, this isn't going to work."
What did they say? Like you'll never be okay again because acid's something you can't fix?
They said that it hasn't worked with people who have taken it before. So like any person it hasn't worked on is because they've taken acid. So they're like,
It means that they're not going to convince you of the bullshit because you've unlocked a part of your brain that sees their bullshit. That's all they're saying.
It might be. I mean, that's pretty crazy though. That
Sorry to break it to anybody that's into Dianetics out there in the crowd.
What's Dianetics? Can someone red pill me on Dianetics?
Yeah, so go ahead.
I'm gonna eat. Go ahead.
No, you all right. I mean,
also okay, fine. Dianetics was like
you could say it a lot better than I could.
L. Ron Hubbard wrote it as like the foundation upon which
he might have stole it from his girlfriend, who was a psychologist. It was like modern psychology work that she was doing, and he basically got a lot of the ideas from her.
I would
not. Yeah,
that's who wrote the missing episode of Stranger Things. Is that guy's wife? Anyhow, yeah. So it's the foundation for Scientology's teachings, and it talks about the reactive mind and it kind of it's laying the foundation for the story about the Thetans and the soul prison planet and Xenu and all that stuff. It's like, oh, the reason that you feel confused is because you're not you're just reacting to stuff around you. You're not like the progenitor of your fucking life. You're just a pinball in a machine.
Isn't it like all of the Thetans like? Don't all of the Thetans like collect on you so much that you're like bogged down or something? Like, is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, so you've always scrambled. It's like the Final Fantasy movie. You get all these weird alien.
Oh my fuck!
Alien souls.
Why does it keep on delaying? I'm so sorry, guys. I try so hard.
Yeah, we love it. Everyone said money so that Colin can have Starlink.
Starlink. I knew that's what you were going to say. I fucking knew it.
I hate to do a branding sponsorship deal, but if you give us one, that would be great.
Starlink, good old Starlink, good
brought
old
to you
Elon
by
Musk.
Low Ping. Dianetics.
I mean, it's supposed to be 5G full bars. Like it should be able to handle it, but I guess I need Starlink. Can't be helped.
You can't trust the government or corporations. But Dianetics is a psychoanalysis tool, like a way of doing therapy, and it's therapy informed by 20th century rigorous science. So before Dianetics, you had, first off, you have the belief in gimps, and before the gimp was a sexual being, the gimp was a little gnome that lived in your brain and gave you migraines because he was mining in your brain. And you had the humors, the different humors, like the different biles that make up the human body. And then you've got Freud, and Freud's new. He's not that old. It's only like 100 years ago that Freud's talking about. Maybe it's that you want to have sex with your mother or something like that that's making you crazy. So psychology emerges, and out of psychology, they have this idea of studying and using studies on numbers of people, because in the 19th century of managerial theory. So they're like, can we apply managerial theory to psychology? And then you have religious people. So you have people thinking there are demons and there's angels and whatever. So Jack Parsons doing seances to put demons into spirit, or even Aleister Crowley doing ritual magic, first with religious Christians who were Gnostic or Rosicrucian. They were trying to enchant angels. And then you have acute schizophrenics, people taking drugs for brief periods of time to have, some therapy or some magical seance experience.
Was it not too long after Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard and what's her name, Cameron, what's her face, did
Marjorie Davis? Yeah, no, Cameron Davis. Yeah,
yeah. Wasn't I might be mistaken. It could just be like a cool thing that I want to believe. But I forget the name of the working that it was.
Yeah, the Moonchild ritual, right? Marjorie Cameron Kimmel. Yeah. Sorry, not Davis, Kimmel. Yeah, so she was part of this magic ritual. But the whole point was that Jack Parsons was really interested in science and magic, and so he had friends on both sides. And L. Ron Hubbard was particularly interested in science, and Aleister Crowley was particularly interested in magic, right? But it was eventually during the ritual that everyone's talent got to shine. So Crowley could do his occult, ritual. Parsons could be part of the ritual, and so could Cameron. And L. Ron Hubbard could record the ritual. And in the old days, doing a ritual, you always had to have the triangle. Someone's in the triangle. They're doing the ritual, and there's a witness, a chronicler, the librarian of the ritual, who's writing everything down, right? And they're outside of the triangle, and they're observing this thing happen. So L. Ron Hubbard got to be that guy, but instead of just having a pen, he's the first ritual chronicler that gets to have a camera and a microphone and a seismograph and a lie detector and every piece of equipment you could ever have to do this ritual. And he's interested in proving that these psychological things or these spirits, they have some quantifiable metric to measure. So Dianetics, yeah, right. He's the Ghostbusters equivalent. And so he's looking into that stuff. And out of that, Dianetics emerges as a therapy, exorcism therapy, based on confession, right? What's the point of a Catholic confession? Well, you're telling them all these things. You do this spiritual ritual. You're forgiven by an authority who has the keys to Christ. And it's an exorcism. So you go out of there with no demons. And that's what you have to do. If you're a Catholic, you can't do confession. You can't do Eucharist. You can't eat the body of Christ if you haven't been purified, cleaned of your sins through a confessional. So they're taking the confessional idea and the CIA interview or the interrogation techniques, lie detector tests, right? And you're putting them together. And you're not using lie detectors because you think people are consciously lying. You're aware of Freudian subconscious. So these people might be lying without knowing they're lying. And you're just looking for, in fact, it's not even just about lying. They're dealing with some high stress in some sort of a repression. They're using repression instead of, you don't use the word lie. This is a repression. So now this e-meter, which is a lie detector machine, is getting a ping every time you bring up different things. Like you brought up your father. Like you can't see them necessarily do that. But when you bring up father, for some people, they remember they have issues, traumas with their father. Okay, well, boom, we just saw a little thing there. And then they start digging into those experiences. And you try to find your ingrained memories, your engrams.
But hold on, they also run a blackmail economy because they dig a lot of stuff out of people while they're holding the e-meters, and they admit to a lot of things that they otherwise wouldn't normally, because they're trying to do this spiritual healing. They're revealing much more than they normally would, and the church uses that against them so that they're like Zionists.
There's like some truth to this. I think so. The other thing is, for a long time, in the 60s, they were just building up this technique that actually helps people like who had asthma or wore glasses, and they might have only worn glasses because their parents wore glasses. Like you think about it, 500 years ago, not many people were wearing glasses. There's a huge population that are wearing glasses now. They come out of particular trades where people didn't practice their eyes, and it might be an epigenetic thing, but it also might be a psychologically induced epigenetic thing where you see your parents wearing glasses, your parents saw successful people wearing glasses, successful people were looking at diamonds and jewelry or something. Like there must have been a reason why all of a sudden people who didn't need glasses start having family lines needing glasses, and they were able to cure people that were essentially blind because they were psychologically conditioned to become blind or to become lazy in the eyes, right? And similarly, Miscavige, who's the leader of the church now, when he was a kid, he was approached by Scientologists because his father was looking for a solution for him to stop having asthma. And he had like debilitating asthma. He would pass out. He'd have to be hospitalized as a kid because of his asthma. They cured his asthma, and he ended up like the right-hand man to L. Ron Hubbard. But they weren't looked at as a tax-free nonprofit organization, a 501c. And he really wanted to be, but he couldn't push that. So he was trying to go for religion. And that's why Scientology became a religion, because they were looking for the same protections. They're like, this is in the vein of Anton LaVey. Anton LaVey is like, what is a religion? Like the Church of Satan is a religion because it does the same thing religions do. A religion offers you one of 5 things, at least, money, power, wisdom, knowledge, immortality, or something to that effect. Like
so that was basically his debate against the IRS. It's like, this is why we deserve tax-exempt status.
Yeah. And it's what is it that a religion does? Well, because people have freedom of religion, and religions are protected from giving money to the government. Why is that? Well, here's the legal explanation for that. Well, let's just do exactly the things a religion does, and we'll be a religion, right? Well, that's what the Church of Satan did. Why can't we do that as scientists? Like, we'll have a atheistic religion that's not that atheist, because we can explain it's actually an empirical religion where everything can be explained. We're measuring souls. We're looking at your possession levels. We're doing, and it's a modern aesthetic sort of, post-industrialism. How do we explain what we can quantify and see? And the CIA didn't want to give them their credit, and most groups didn't want to give them their credit, but they ended up going and doing Operation Snow White, which was where the Scientologists were, in the 70s and the 80s, sober, right? They still are. And there was a group of people in a time when everyone was doing drugs. In the CIA, particularly the FBI, these people were on cocaine, a lot of them, and they were on drugs and alcohol. So the Scientologists could maneuver their decent people, these really focused, driven, sober-minded people, into these jobs, working at the FBI, working at the CIA, working in the government. And they could collect a lot of information on people, not just through, and this is the thing, sure, they can do, blackmail, and that might have mattered more in the 70s or the 80s. People will talk about Tom Cruise and John Travolta being held secret, but they're gay. No, I don't think that that's as big of a deal today. Maybe it was then that, if you found out in the 80s an actor was gay, it might have still been a big deal. I think today, this is the post-shame culture. This might be one of the best things about the post-shame culture, is that they cannot blackmail and extort you for being gay or a deviant, right? Being a deviant at this point is celebrated. So you're not easily blackmailing Hollywood people the way you used to, where you're like, well, we have pictures of you with a prostitute. It's like, well, who cares? People, it's America, right?
I think is still affected by some of those judgments. And I think that some of those things coming out would affect someone's career, like say Tom Hardy or, Chris Hemsworth, who are these like sort of alpha male archetype pushing. And somehow this loops back to what we started talking about, like the gay thing makes them less manly, even though, dominating another man and is probably the man he could. I don't know, just saying. So yeah, no, in the Western world,
Chris Hemsworth, I never thought about it, but he's probably super gay, right? I never really, took the time to think about it, but I can totally imagine. I mean, I shouldn't be. You know what? Don't put that thought in my head. Thanks a lot, Andrew.
Approval, man. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but there's something about dudes that are too obsessed with masculinity that seem, it's, if you're that into masculinity, you're gay for masculinity. It seems like intuitive.
Whose mom wasn't even really that hot. It doesn't take like a Freud level of maybe for the time, I'll take it. She probably smelled good. I'll give that to her. But anyways,
I don't know. I mean, I think that the interesting thing about Scientology is that they were able to be so on top of their shit that they were able to get evidence of the CIA and the FBI involved with the mafia, involved with all this extortion, and then they were able to show that and say, "Look, here's stuff that. Look at this document. Look what you did. Look what they did. Look at, just give us our tax exemption." And that they had to do it. Like, that's really, you have to give Scientology some credit for being able to be that on their shit while everyone else was that off their rocker, that they were able to establish themselves. And it's a happily ever after story until, L. Ron Hubbard gets away with a tax-free religion, goes off on a boat with a lot of virgin boys, lives happily ever after until he dies in a room with David Miscavige at 23 years old and becomes the controller of the church.
I think the lesson here that we could learn is that it's not that hard to start your own religion, and there's a lot of perks to having your own religion, primarily being the tax exempt status, which is probably pretty fucking sweet if you ask me. And maybe that you don't get drafted to war. That's cool too.
You have to do so much for it, though. I think the whole point is, like, Scientologists don't get enough credit for what they do for the world. They actually help the world in a lot of weird ways,
Nowadays, with how lax things are in the federal government and like things getting approved, you don't even need to pay for a tax stamp to turn, what is legally a pistol into a short-barreled rifle and all sorts of other things. Like, have you guys seen Church of Gnome? It's this new church. I am ordained minister in the Church of Gnome. I can legally officiate weddings, and like, it's funny because in all of their like AI videos, it's like, we are not a cult. We are not a cult. But yeah, no, it's a church. It's an official church. I think that now, like, because there is so much like lax stuff happening at the federal level, like, you could get away with a lot because their energy is shifted elsewhere.
Yeah, for sure. But the thing is, now Scientology has like, in the 90s, when this was first happening, they had protections. Since then, since the early 2000s, there's been a consistent effort to derogate Scientology. And I'm not saying like they're perfect people and that every Scientologist is, obviously I've seen the videos where people say that they're, calling in the police and maybe they're in certain ways manipulative in a defensive sense. I don't know. It's possible, right? But that doesn't mean that there hasn't been also this consistent propaganda against Scientologists. I've noticed this for the last 25 years, is that people are coming out in Hollywood and saying Scientology is so terrible, it controls my life. Sorry, Colin's about to say something. We're waiting for it.
Themselves very, very seriously. I was citizens arrested by 2 Scientology cops on Hollywood Boulevard for putting a
it's common knowledge. It's common knowledge that Scientology is bad. Like, that's just always been common knowledge.
Scientology's helped a lot of people. There's a lot of, like I just told you, there's people that were nearly blind, that people had asthma, there's people that were drug addicts, Narconon. I mean, Scientology's helped a lot of people. I mean, I used to wonder, like, how could you end up a Scientologist? And then I was in LA without a job, starving kind of, and I'm looking around at like the people running in tracksuits near an Armenian kebab place, like, oh, that's how you get into Scientology. Because they'll immediately, if you have nothing, then they give you a world to live in and be a part of that you can put your energy into, that helps them out and helps you. It's like a symbiosis in Hollywood. Versus if you have more than you need, these desperate Hollywood people, they end up giving their money to Scientology, and then Scientology can further its goals and its vision. And sure, that's like they're buying a boat and they're going around the world, but they're also detoxifying Africa or giving education to kids in South America. They're doing a lot more than people realize, that it's actually beneficial. You have to, in order to keep your tax-free religious status.
I mean, because we're talking about a religion and not a cult, because a religion is a lot more legit than a cult, right? Which means they have some form of accountability, I guess.
I think a cult is really just a pejorative term. This is like the difference between Al-Qaeda before and after the government recognizes it, right?
I don't know.
Or-
I don't think it's pejorative because like I'm in a martial arts school. I consider that kind of culty if you think about it. You know,
it's a cult classic, you know, but that's what does it mean to be a cult really? It just means that you haven't been recognized as a religion for some reason. It's really just disrespected is all. And normally you would just take any religious group if you were to say, I don't respect that Islamic cult or I don't respect
Well,
the
cult,
Catholic
cult,
cult
yes,
person.
like the way he's saying, the way you're saying.
Damn.
Oh man. And then you got muted. You muted yourself.
It's
I think
on
Andreas-
one person in a negative way, where they start telling.
It's like jazz music, just fading in and out. I think Andreas is saying joining Scientology with his wizard handlework is turning me into a sci-fi-tology, perhaps. I'm not saying you should join any of these groups. I'm just saying it's really interesting what happened. And obviously Scientology is very different today than it was in the 70s or the 90s or whatever. But my thought is the same with anything, that Freemasons left. People talk all these conspiracy theories about Freemasonry. I haven't done this, by the way, but I have a friend who did. He was so interested in Freemasonry, he joined up. There was like 6 guys in this lodge left. Their family, you know, there's all that was left in this region. And this kid joined at like 22 years old. Now he's like about 32 or something. And he basically runs this shit because everyone's 90 years old. These 6 guys are going to die. He's in charge of and he gets, you know, the way that this works is every group has a certain amount of money in their pot that they give to help the members of the community. Well, guess what? If you're in charge of the community, so I think we should be taking over Scientology, taking over Freemasonry, everyone, Democrats. The Democratic Party is collapsing, and there's nobody but this Dave Hogg kid, like the you know, the Sandy Hook fake shoot guy, you know, from Texas, whatever, hit Florida. Well, just no one's running for Democratic politician positions that are any good, right? So you should do it. It should just like if you hate the Democrats, then take them over, right? And this just the way the Republicans were taking over. Just everyone should take over these dying clubs.
Well, that's Robert Conquest 3 Laws of Politics.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm doing with communism. So I'm a communist accelerationist. If you couldn't tell from my very serious getup right now.
It's true.
God.
But you're like a Stalinite because you're pro-family.
No. I'm Kropotkinist /
That's good. A little Trotsky. I'm a little bit Trotsky. I'm a little Kropotkin. Yeah.
There are valid criticisms of Marx. You know, for him to have a labor theory of value while having a sugar daddy is rich. But you know, it's but that doesn't make him not a great thinker who didn't have some valid ideas as well. But the thing is, we're all human. We're all prone to have some,
Except for the lizard people.
Are there good lizard people? Can we go back to that, Colin?
Just said Lacenta, right? There's that chick, Lacenta. Lacerda, which sounds like a medicine, but yeah.
Lacerda, only with 50 billion side effects. But I mean, yeah, no, obviously
may cause artificial insemination.
Go figure. The good one is a woman. Hey, I'm just saying the matriarchy is coming back. The sacred feminine and masculine are synthesizing in this new age that is dawning upon us.
Steingate. You guys watch Steingate? Watch
Yeah.
Steingate. Make sure that you got that done. It's like Serial Experiments Lane, but more chill.
I'd like to, if we're recommending media before we go,
Please
I
do.
I recently saw Private Parts for the first time
yeah.
ever.
Yeah,
That
I
shit
saw
was
the
Yin yang, bitch.
That shit was so insane. Like, oh my God.
You thought it was insane.
Yeah, it was an amazing movie.
It's actually pretty good. Yeah, I don't know about insane, but it's definitely. I remember seeing this movie as a kid because, you know, I don't know. I saw the video cassette cover of it. I'm sorry, I might even have the right window open, but the video cassette. Have you seen? You know the trail, like the Private Parts video. Oh man, I better be careful with this. I'm so glad I didn't click on images right away. Oh God. Ugh.
Well, I think it's crazy for us in the, in the aspect of how we live in like basically a broadcast age now, with like streaming and podcasting. To see Howard Stern's story on his come up is like really prescient, I should say. It's prescient seeming.
It reminds me of David Plate, like Howard Stern. David Plate actually has a lot of Howard Stern vibes. But this videotape, I just remember seeing the videotape as a kid, and I was like, I have to see that movie. I don't know why. And I watched it, and it was, it's just a great movie. It's just a true story-ish about a guy, like a biopic about Howard Stern back when Howard Stern was interesting.
He was a fucking mess. He was obviously like a mess, like with so many idiosyncrasies. And I feel like a lot of guys in a lot of media, especially from that age, were like that. Like people like talkers, and for them to stay like cutting edge and interesting, they would have to quote unquote push the envelope. And that could be really taxing to people around them, right?
We need like a Howard Stern, like the fall of Howard Stern movie, like the sequel to this. And it'd just be a picture of the Twin Towers knocked down with like people like with crying children, because the dude went so woke when he got the Sirius contract. It's so sad that the CIA did that to him. I just, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
But that subwoofer scene where he like makes that woman orgasm.
Yeah. He's like, do me a favor, turn the treble down, the bass all the way up and straddle it.
Changed my life, like that taught me a lot about women and myself.
Sound.
So, and music and engineering. All right. Any closing thoughts? I'm gonna let 5D go. Colin, you should try it. We're gonna just sit here, give it a moment of silence while the delay finishes for Colin. Go ahead. I love dead air.
Jesus.
Are we still waiting for this? Like he talked. I saw him say stuff.
Yeah, it's that delayed. Or maybe it just didn't. Maybe it didn't pick it up.
I don't have much to say. It's been a wonderful time. Thank you, everyone.
Holy shit!
Wow. Like, and this is like, and they could do the moon landing call like Nixon and Armstrong. This is from Texas. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like a lightning storm.
Yeah.
My God, bro. Okay. All right. Blue collar Godfather.
I'm giving away a hatchet on my Instagram when I reach 1,000 followers, and that's like 40 followers away. I did wrap the handle in hockey tape with like a katana pattern, so it looks cool, feels good in hand. They throw really well. I have like 4 of them, but 2 of them I'm turning into a tensegrity table, and another one I'm keeping as a hatchet. And so the 4th one I'm giving away, and you can enter for free, or you can buy patches or some Schrader valve caps that are 40 caliber shell casings with a little Schrader valve cap. They look really great on bikes and motorcycles. I put 4 of them on my car. It looks pretty tough. Aside from that, I don't know. If you watch the show and judging from the comments, it's a lot of the same people. It's a lot of the same stuff. But just be vigilant and look out for yourself. And if you can, be active in your community, get to know your neighbors, and just establish some real life human connections, because that's how we're going to get through this very dark time that is approaching.
I love the way this hatchet looks. I mean, this katana wrap, you can tell that this man has made a lot of leather work and lingerie over the years. Like, it really comes through. So, designer, very fancy, very nice.
Thank you.
Like a real ninja you are. All right. And then terrorist Chris, what's up?
I just want to say thank you to get everyone here. Thank you to the panels. Thank you to chat. Thank you to everyone. And at about 8:30, I'm going to be streaming Arc Raiders with Eudaimania. Good old Vincent, because I was supposed to do it with him at 8, but Andreas fucking took forever, to start shit today.
I'm sorry. I was confused myself. There's a time zone difference, and apparently there's a daylight savings time happened like a few weeks ago in America. You guys went through that. We have daylight savings time in Europe in like a week or something. It's It's like not the same. I mean, stop it. Stop daylight.
No, hold up.
before
I will say this.
anymore.
I also want to say this because I thought about it. And if we get to 200 subs on TerrorRisk, then I'll start live streaming some episodes, so you guys could talk as much shit as you want.
And if
then
you get up to
like read it.
500, he'll do it naked.
Oh, we'll see about that.
All right. Yeah. I'll see you guys next time.
Advanced philosophy memes. We make good memes. Advanced philosophy memes. Base fucking memes.